Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Pod Amongst Men. I'm your host, Steve B., and these are coffee break conversations for the 21st century. So we are back. Update, yes, I got COVID. I'm now clear, and I'm fine. You know, luckily the family's fine. They got it too, but you know, I really didn't make a big announcement about it. I know my friend Dom on Three Ninjas made an announcement. Thank you. Shout out to him. Shout out to Hesh and Bobby as well. Appreciate all the well wishes from everybody that reached out. Thank you very much, guys. But luckily, everybody's good right now. You know, the wife is good, the kid's good, the in-laws are good, and you know, it's waiting for my wife to come back negative so we can go to the doctor and make sure the baby's good too. But as of right now, I have nothing but signs to be hopeful. So I'm very thankful for that. Yeah, that's about it. Now, that being said, regarding COVID, this episode I brought on my friend Dom from Three Ninjas and the Domino Effect to talk about COVID because he had it and beat it as well. And that's one thing I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about, you know, what they did and how it kind of made them reflect on the world at large and kind of, you know, being out of work and all that stuff and everything that comes along with it. So I got Dom on here so we could talk about some of that stuff and, you know, what it was like being home for me for the longest time ever since I started working. But yeah, that's what this episode's all about. So I'm not going to spoil it. No spoilers. This is a spoiler-free environment. I've carefully cultivated that. Thank you very much. So without further ado, here's my conversation with my friend, the main ninja himself, Domino.
Should be good.
All right. Don't judge my coffee cup because I had made a whole pot of coffee and I didn't. My coffee cup only held so much, so I had to take my wife's too. So I have extra because it's cold as shit out here. I need something like hot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice subtle flex you did with the water bottle. I like that.
I wish it was an alcohol, but you know,
Yeah.
I gotta go to the store.
Hey, you know, it's 12. It's 12. What am I saying? It's 12 o'clock somewhere.
I don't give a fuck what time it was. It's my weekend off. I want to enjoy this shit.
So let me ask you, how you been doing, man? I mean, you're COVID free now, right?
Yeah, man, had that thing, man. I'm good now. Like I feel fine. I don't feel any lasting effects that everyone else has been talking about. So you know, I feel, you know, pretty fine. I feel like it was a cold that just came and went. My body feels fine.
Now, how bad did you have it? Like, were you laid up for a day or two, or?
Oh man, I was down for like, let's see, I was down for maybe like 2 days at most because I kind of like worked through it. Like I did the shit that you're not supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So when you feel sick, you're supposed to just, you know, stay home and assume you have it. But I'm like, nah, I got this shit from like food poison or something, so I'm good. So when I started feeling crazy, which was a Thursday, I was like, nah, I'm good. You know, I'm going to just go home and sleep it off. Went to work Friday, still felt fucking crazy. Saturday, luckily, I had that day off from work. I just laid in the bed all day. I was like, yo, this shit really, really crazy. I ain't know McDonald's did that to you. Like, I know the shit was bad, but I ain't know it was going to fuck me up like that.
This McRib is fucked up this year.
Yeah, like, you shouldn't put that shit in your body anyway, stupid motherfucker. But, yeah, Saturday, I laid in the bed all day. Like I just didn't feel right. I'm like, damn, this food is crazy. So I talked to my daughter on FaceTime and I was like, I don't know if y'all can come over this weekend because, you know, I don't feel so good. And she was like, Daddy, I think you got COVID. You need to go get a COVID test. I was like, yo, it's food. I'm good, yo. But like the look on her face was like, nah, I'm scared for my dad. So I was like, you know what, for you, I'm going to get this shit and I'm going to show you the test. I'm negative. I'm cool. It's just food poisoning or whatever. So Sunday, I go get the test. I'm waiting. I'm like, you know, they do the nose swab and shit. I'm waiting. I'm like, you know, do the rapid joint. I'm good. They call me back in the office like, yo, you got the COVID. So I'm like, oh, shit. So immediately I started thinking like who I was around, who I might have gave it to, how the fuck did I get it? It's just all these thoughts going through my mind. So after that, Saturday and Sunday was really the only day I was down. Monday, I felt like myself again. So that was maybe like 4 or 5 days of sickness.
That's not too bad. Did you figure out where you might have caught it from?
Honestly, I don't fucking know because I take the public transportation to work. So I take the train and the bus.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing I caught it from there. I know I didn't catch it from my job because nobody else reported sick. I didn't catch it from my house. Nobody else in my house was sick. It had to be fucking nasty ass public transportation. That's my only guess.
See, I take the train for work too. Like I drive out to Jersey City and park, and then take the train, into downtown. And I always thought that if I was going to get it, that's where it would be from. But it turns out, like the last week of January was my son's birthday, so it was like that last Friday. I took a half day, and that morning, the building I work in, everybody's on their different floors and shit. So the shop steward for the carpenters works on the same floor as me. And I'm friendly with the guy, and he was telling me, all the guys downstairs on the low floors doing sheetrock, they got like 4 of them all have COVID now. So the company is sending in like a private testing company to come in and test people on the job. And that was just the carpenters. So I'm like, oh, damn, good thing I'm leaving at lunch, So, we leave, we're out that weekend. We get home. Monday is when we first got that big snowstorm. So I'm like, fucking, I ain't going to work now. And I spent, hours shoveling. So next morning I woke up, I was sore as shit. I'm like, I was shoveling. I haven't really done much, of course. But I was like, I don't know. I kind of coughing a little bit. Like, feel a little sickly. So my wife was like, listen, just go take a test. Because the Tuesday, I was still feeling it. I'm like, well, I'm not going to go to work, it was still snowing. Let me just play safe. So I went and got the test. First one came. I didn't do the rapid test because I know a lot of people got like the false results and shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me do the legit one. I'll just wait and see. So I took the test and it came back negative. I was like, oh shit, okay. Now, the next day I was getting ready to go back to work, and then I get a call. I said, yo, mad people in the job tested positive for COVID. Like, they're up in double digits now. I was like, really? And I realized, like, I don't smell anything. Like, I took a crazy shit this morning, and I didn't smell anything. Like, that's a bad sign. I'm like, but that test came back negative. So I'm like, let me just play safe. So I went and got another test, and then second test came back positive. I was like, oh, there you go. So, and I didn't really... Go ahead.
Now, I was going to say to the smell thing, I didn't notice I couldn't smell till like maybe like the 6th day I was like at home quarantine and shit. I was like, you know what? I ain't really been around nothing like, people ain't really cooking in my house. So I'm like, okay, I don't really smell nothing. But I was like, somebody mentioned that shit to me. I was like, oh, I forgot that was a symptom. So I took some Vicks, put my nose straight in the Vicks, couldn't smell shit. Right? I was like, oh, I really got this shit.
My wife uses this special soap because, like, since the pregnancy, her skin, like, the hormones and shit messing with her body, and her skin got super sensitive, so she couldn't even use a regular soap. So she got this, like, weird pine tar. It's like a bar soap, and that stuff smells so strong, like, crazy strong. And I went in the bathroom, like, I don't even smell the soap. I was like, fuck. That's what I knew. I'm like, something's wrong. I mean, maybe it's in my head, but something's wrong. And I found out my apprentice, he got it at work too. So it was over 20 guys on my job site all got corona. So I'm like, well, there you go. And now I'm thinking, fuck, I spent the whole weekend, with the family. Like, I got a pregnant wife. I got, mother-in-law who, not too far removed from chemotherapy. I got a kid. I got my father-in-law. I got people at risk at the house. So I was like, shit.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, I'm like, I really don't feel that bad. Like, it just felt like a little minor cold. And I've had colds worse than this. So I was like, maybe it won't be that bad. Maybe for whatever reason, they'll be lucky because nobody else had symptoms. And then, that next week, they all went and got tested and they all had it.
Right. Like, yeah, man, it's been crazy, man. So nobody in my house, fortunately, caught it. I thought, my uncle might have caught it because he was coughing crazy. And I guess everybody else just like, act like I had the plague and just stayed the fuck away from me.
So what'd you do? You just like stayed in your room with the door shut?
Hold on, quick.
Hold up.
Give me 1 second here, because it's fucking. What happened? What you say?
Oh yeah. So when you were when you had it, What did happen? Did you like just quarantine? You stay like locked up in the room?
Yeah, basically, just stayed in my little area, whatever, and told everybody to stay 6 feet away from me. Everybody, just keep the fucking distance, and hopefully you won't get it. But I made my trips to like the bathroom and the kitchen and shit in like calculated times. So it was like, all right, nobody's here around this time, or they just came in here. I can go in here, get what the fuck I gotta get, and then go back out. So
it's called your family on the phone.
Kind of stayed to myself.
He's like, yo, I'm coming to the kitchen. You better lay low for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, just chill out. Just give me a second. I'm about to clear all this shit out. I'm be in and out.
Yeah, I didn't do the same thing. But I'll be honest, like I was really isolated for like a little over a week and a half. And I was just like in my room, door shut, barely even got out of bed all those days. I found I have a PS4, and I really I didn't play it that much. It was a gift. A friend of mine, Sergio, shout out to Sergio. Yeah, he was in a training. He was going into like law enforcement. I don't want to say which branch, but he had it with him when he was away for training. And then when he finished up, he went back home with the wife, and then he had a new baby. He was like, I don't want to spend all my time playing this thing, so I'm going to get it out of the house. He was like, here, you guys take it. So that's how I got a PS4. But I had a bunch of games from him that I never played. So I'm like, yo, what's this Ghost Recon? Let me check this out. So I put that in, and that's a crazy big game. So it's like Grand Theft Auto with military shit, and I just played that.
Fire.
Bro, I played that for like 11 days straight. I just I did everything in that fucking game, and it was like, this is perfect. Like I've been doing my job for like 15 years straight. I never really I've taken like a vacation, like a week here, and then I had like 2 weeks off for my wedding and stuff. But that was the longest I took off. This right now is the longest I've ever not been at work. And not only that, but this is the longest I've ever not done shit. Like when I tell you I didn't do shit. Like, and it was
don't it feel good, man?
It was so glorious. And that's why I feel so guilty. I got my poor wife is pregnant, but she's not doing nothing either. I keep asking her what she needs. She don't need nothing. So I'm like, I guess I'm just gonna stay here and do my thing. And it really I feel like it changed my life a little bit.
Yeah, yo, that whole not doing nothing, and I guess getting back to what you used to do as like a kid, when you had no responsibility, you could just play games all day. You can come and go as you please. You don't gotta worry about much. It's just like the game. It's what I want to do,
right?
Type thing. And I feel like once we become adults, we got bills, we got relationships, we got, homes, and we got all this shit. It's like, all that shit has to fall by the wayside. And you lose all the things that you love, essentially, to actually do the thing that you need to do. Yeah. It's fucked up.
How long were you quarantined for? Like, how long were you out of work?
I was quarantined 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
It's because they tell you to quarantine for 14 days. I felt fine after day 6. And then I had to wait the 14 days out. I had to get a test. And then once I got my test, I still couldn't go back to work because someone that's associated with my job, like a medical assistant that's associated with my job, they had to call me, ask me a bunch of questions, and clear me before I went back to work. So 3 days or 4 days after I got my test, then I was able to go back to work. So 2.5 weeks of just like bliss. Just
when I went to get my my test to see if I was clear or not, that was on Tuesday of this week. And they called me Wednesday. It's like, yeah, so we got your results back, but they're inconclusive. I guess they got a bad sample, so you got to come take the test again. I was like, yo, listen, take your time, guys. Like, I'm not in a rush.
For real.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we're trying to get you back as fast as possible. Don't you dare. You better take your time, do it right. I'm like, make sure to check. Maybe if there's a little bit there, you guys better find it. I want to know.
Exactly. But, get all of it out. Make sure it's all out.
Oh, you found a little bit. I guess I gotta wait. But,
damn it.
Yeah. Oh, shucks. So they called me back Friday to tell me that it came back negative. I was like, all right. I guess I should have seen that coming.
Right.
So, but my job, they were just like, yeah, send us your test results, and it's fine. You come back to work. I was like, I could have not even sent them the results. I'm like, yeah, I'm clear. They're like, all right, great, get back here.
Right. Yeah, we need you.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad though because like with what I was doing at work, I mean, I wasn't like the most important guy, but it was like it still was important what I was doing, and then, like everything else coming afterwards depended on me staying ahead. And now, like 3 weeks out, who knows what the fuck's going on? It's gonna be fucking mayhem when I get back there.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
slaving for nothing.
yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I got it from here. So what the fuck you want me to do?
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing that you can do. Just rest up and try to get back to work as soon as possible, even though we don't fucking want to.
So after now the quarantine's over and everything, you're all clear. How do you look back on that time? Like, I mean, I know you said that you enjoyed it, but like, could you elaborate a little bit on that? Like,
You know, it's always one of those things that I knew was real. I knew that was out there. You know, I know people that have passed away from it, be it, you know, famous and people that I know in my personal life that have passed away from it, you know, with their pre-existing conditions and whatever. I always knew it was a real thing, but I felt like because I had made it a year without catching it, I thought I was good. I thought I was taking all the precautions. I was washing my hands. I wasn't touching my face. I had a mask on. I was doing all that shit. It take one slip up
yep.
for you to just catch that shit and just be down. You know, I can see how people, you know, ultimately pass from this thing. Like the way I felt, because the beginning of 2020, I was sick. And I thought when it finally got announced that like, oh, COVID is in the US, I was like, oh, so that's maybe what I had. Cause I had a fever. I had most of the symptoms except for like the taste and smell or whatever. But I was like, oh, I got it, you know, earlier in the year. But then when I got it this past time, I was like, nah, that wasn't it. Because I didn't have a fever. My symptoms were basically I lost smell. Strangely, my eyes were sore. I had muscle pain. I had fatigue. And then like day by day went by and all those shit just went away. It's put it in perspective, like this shit can, like you can not know that you have it. You can, you know, be nonchalant about it all you want. Like, you know, if I'd have made a wrong somewhere, I could have gave that shit to everybody I love. Like just me thinking, oh, it's food. Like, no, you're really sick. And you could have, you know, gave it to your kids. You could have gave it to your mom. You could have gave it to somebody that's sickly. You could have gave it to somebody at work that wasn't the healthiest. You could have, you know, passed it along to somebody on the train. And then, you know, how many people pass through the fucking train every day. So it was something that's like, yo, this shit is real and is scary.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. I was just feeling guilty. I mean, if I was exposed on a Friday and I didn't realize I had it until the following week, luckily we got snowed in, so I wasn't really around any people. But that whole weekend, you know, I mean, I was around people. I mean, I had a mask on, but still. And I'm like, shit, like, I mean, what if I was like a super spreader? You know what I mean? Like I started feeling guilty because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I had the same thing. You know, it's been a year. I know last February, like this time last year, I had like a bad flu. And at first I was like, oh, maybe I have this coronavirus shit. And then I'm like, nah, I don't have the symptoms that they're talking about. I didn't lose smell or anything. And then, like you said, this time around, I lost taste, smell. My eyes were sore, which I thought I just had a headache. But it turns out that was a symptom. But, yeah, it reminds you you're not invincible, you know? Like, we skated by all this time out there in the world working, doing the same thing as normal. Think, you know, it ain't that big a deal. You know, we're still doing the right thing, wearing a mask, not, you know, not going out crazy and everything. But, yeah.
I was kind of waiting for, like, more symptoms to hit it because, you know, people was talking about they was having the breathing problems. I was like, I was waiting for that shit to come. I was like, you know, because when they told you at first, you know, people that have that if you might have corona, hold your breath for 10 seconds. I was doing that shit like 8 times a day. I was like, I think I got it. I think I can hold it. I'm good. And then I was doing that shit all day. I was like, okay, I can breathe. I can taste food. I was like, oh shit, all these, like I'd never heard the symptom of like your eyes being sore. And I guess that was just like the sinus buildup or whatever. But that shit was crazy, man.
Yeah, it was weird. Like, it's one of those things where like I feel like everybody's got different symptoms half the time. Or you never know. Like, oh, this foot hurts. Oh, maybe it's corona. It could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But before I actually caught it, I thought everything that happened to me, I was like, damn, I got the thing. Like even if I coughed, like I made it a point to get on the train, and when I have to like cough or sneeze or something, I try my best to hold that shit in because I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to look like that guy. Like, hey, because I remember when this thing first got announced, there was some people that still didn't wear masks. They was getting on a train and they was just like freely talking and, you know, coughing and all this shit. I looked at them like, I was like, yo, fucking bugging. Like it's a thing out here.
I know I seen guys like that on the train. There's one guy that I used to work with, and like where we work in Jersey City, everybody takes the light rail from like they have like a park and ride out by the Liberty Science Center, and you know, I see guys that work for my company, but everybody's on different job sites. And there's this one dude, and you know, like now the masks became like a political thing. Of course, there's like that one like super right wing crazy guy, doesn't want to wear a mask, thinks he's better, thinks he's smarter than everybody else. So on the train every day, I'm like, this fucking guy. And you know, it's like he's a big dude, so I'm not gonna like talk shit to him. But,
hey, you.
Yeah. Hey man, you should. I think talking to other guys, it's like, yeah, look at this fucking asshole. Why ain't he wearing a mask? And they're like, yeah, why don't you say that to him? I was like, because I'm saying it to you. What do you? Shut up. But yeah, it's just like, you know, you see people who just think that they're, oh yeah, this is bullshit. I was smarter than all these fucking doctors and scientists. You know, like they. I don't really know where I was going with that, but it's just. It's crazy because you can only be as safe as the person next to you. Like, you know, the masks aren't meant to protect us. They're meant to protect the people around us.
Right,
like, that's the common courtesy. It's like you not wearing a mask, it means you have no consideration for anybody around you. It's like because you're big tough guy, but your face is so delicate that the mask, you know, inhibits your breathing. Oh, poor baby. You fucking
stop being a bitch
baby.
and wear a mask. You got to wear it for like an hour, a half hour at most. Like, just wear a fucking mask.
You see these fucking jerk offs like, oh, I can't breathe with the mask on. Like, really? Because my 10-year-old son can run around and do cartwheels outside with a mask on, and he's not really complaining. But you, a grown man, you know, you're too soft and you know, oh.
Yeah, I've seen my daughter wear a mask for 2 hours. Didn't complain not once. I was like, you know what? You better than me. Because I'd have been like, yo, it's fucking steam. It's all moist in this mask now. I want to take this shit off. She just like, no, I'm going to play. I'm going to do what I got to do.
Bro, try wearing a mask. Try wearing a mask with glasses on. That's the worst.
I heard that shit sucks.
I've developed like scientific methods and like perfect like positions. I have to like look down like fucking like Ray J, like with my glasses on like this, so the air can escape through the top. But
man, shout out to Ray J.
Watch every time we show this video, I'm gonna have my hat in a different spot.
Yeah, that'd be fucking dope. Every time you come back, if we take a break, your hat just on the different side.
Speaking of heads, I gotta say this: the way the green screen thing behind you is going on, every time you kind of lean your head back, I'm getting mad Stevie Wonder vibes, and I didn't want.
Oh nah, I got a hairline. All my shit is intact, baby.
Nah,
I'm good out here.
It looks fine now, but every time you lean back, it's like it disappears. It's
yeah,
like,
it's like
all he's gonna start doing is this shit now.
Yeah. So happy to talk to you, Steve.
All right. So I know you said like, you know, your daughters can come over and stuff. Like I'm sure your lady wasn't there. Like how did being home all that time, did it affect anything? Was everybody kind of understanding? Were they sad? What was it like?
It started to affect my kids after like a week because they used to seeing me every week. Mm-hmm. So them, it kind of affected, and my oldest daughter was worried about me because she knows people that have like passed away from it. Like her next door neighbors, like they were older, and one got really, really sick and one actually passed away from it. I think somebody in her class, one of their fathers passed away from it or some shit like that. So it was like, yo, she knows people who the shit has affected. And then she's looking at me like, oh, dad is sick. Mm-hmm. Oh, is he going to end up like such and such? And I'm like, nah, baby, I'm fine. I'm trying to reassure that, like, you know, I take care of myself. I exercise. I do what I got to do. And it's just like, just looking at her face, it like, I could tell her all I want. Like, yo, daddy's going to be fine. It was just like, yeah, you say that, motherfucker. But, you know, I'm still like, you know, checking up on you. So she called me like 3 times a day. My youngest daughter, she don't really grasp it yet. You know, she's just like, daddy got like she knows what COVID is. Like, oh, daddy got COVID, daddy sick. Okay. Daddy okay. Like as long as she talks to me every day, she's fine. Like, oh, she know that daddy's okay. it didn't really affect anything. Well, my lady, she was, she want to spend time and she want to take care of me. She want to bring me, all this stuff to, make me feel better and stuff. So, she did her part where it was like I couldn't go out to get groceries, so she bought me things. She was like, I just want you to get better. I just want to spend time with you.
Yo, let me say this. Like, after listening to your show, hearing you talk about your lady, all the shit she does for you, I gotta say, it sounds like you got a keeper, bro.
Dog, I think I got one.
we should really shout out to her because she sounds like a solid woman, man.
Yeah, shout out to Carla, man. She's a real woman. Like,
I'm happy for you, man.
I'm happy too, but it's scary. I don't like this whole love shit. This shit is like, because I don't like to feel vulnerable like that.
Listen, that's what real love is. Like, there's a quote I used to really like. Well, I mean, I still like it, but it says like, real love is giving someone the power to destroy you and trusting that they won't use it.
Yeah.
That's essentially what it is. Like, it is feeling vulnerable. It's like, yo, I'm going to invest in this, and realistically, you could, like, really fuck me up here. But I believe that you're not the type of person to do that. That's all it is.
Yeah, man. As corny as it's going to sound, like, I pray for this woman. Like, I was like, yeah, I'm tired of the bullshit, man. I just want to, be happy. I want to, the shit that I accomplished in my life, I want to be able to to share that with somebody and just not feel, just like it doesn't matter. Because a lot of times I used to do shit and I felt like it was just me talking to a wall. It's like, oh, okay, so what we doing today when we going out on a date? I'm like, oh shit, all right, you don't really give a fuck about, what I give a fuck about or what I'm investing in. I feel like she cares about everything I like and she's just 100% in, and I don't recall a time where I've had that. So it's refreshing, it's scary, it's new territory,
it's rare.
I don't like this shit, man. Yeah, it's rare, man. I don't like this shit, man. But it's dope though.
I think you mean you don't like how much you like it.
Yeah, man, it's just crazy. It's like, like I want to do something and she's down. I'm like, okay. So like a lot of times I couldn't like pay a girl to watch a Marvel movie and be in. We just watched Infinity War yesterday and she cried. I was like, oh, you really like this shit. You really paying attention. Right? You into this shit. Like she's watched the whole timeline. And she was like, yo, I want to know what's happening now. I don't know if it's because of me. I don't know if it's because of the show I do. I don't know if she just like never really thought about it until I came into her life. I'm like, dog, you about to get sized for a ring. I don't know what the fuck you doing with the rest of your life, but you ain't going nowhere.
You got to watch a WandaVision?
Not yet. She wants to watch everything in order. So we just watched Infinity War. Then she has to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp, and then Endgame, and then WandaVision.
Okay. Yeah, man, it's a cool feeling when you like something you really care about, especially like Marvel movies. Because for me, it's the same thing. Like I'm 100% in with those, with the whole the nerd aspect of it, and it's hard to find a girl that actually even is willing to give it a shot. Like I got my wife,
and she asks questions and shit. I'm like, it's cute.
I did the same thing. I got my wife, like we sat down, we watched all the Marvel movies in sequence, and then we watched after we got married and we moved in together. Every time one came out in the theaters, we would go see it. And I got to shout out my best friend Drew, because it used to be me and him would go see the shit, and now I got married. I don't want to say I've replaced him, but I got other people in my life now, so I got to apologize. I know it sucks, but it is what it is.
Like Drew, I love you, but she do things that you can't do, bro.
Yeah,
like
I'm sure you could do it if you tried, but I wouldn't let you.
Right? You're right. Right.
Yeah, I mean he's a flexible guy. I have faith in his abilities.
Right, but it's just like it's my baby, man. I gotta show her the ropes real quick.
But yeah, man, it was such a great feeling to have her watch one of those movies and be like, oh, that was really good. Like I enjoyed it. I'm like, oh, really? You want to watch another one? So, yeah, I do. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. It's not like pulling teeth.
It's rare. Yeah, it's that's the thing. It's not pulling teeth. It's just like, yo, she wants to do the thing. So I'm like, it's not me dragging her somewhere and making her do it, and she really don't want to do it, or she really don't want to be there. Like she suggests half of the shit. So I'm like, I didn't know that you was into that, but now as time goes on, I know to, give those type of things to her. Like, all right, so I'm gonna go to the comic store. I'm gonna go to the movies. Well, if we get to go to the fucking movies again, or this is coming out on this day, you might want to watch this before this comes out. And she's like, oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll watch these 2 this day, and then I'll be ready for this when it comes out. Like that type of shit.
I think it's just a matter of being open-minded, because like all like the nerd stuff, it's not that they're like so nerdy that they're such an acquired taste for people, but it's really just like, no, they're popular for a reason, because they're good, the stories are good, whatever, they're cool, they're fun to watch. You just have to be open-minded enough to give it a chance. Like I knew my wife was really like officially like, okay, I got to keep this one. And this is after we got married. I already knew, but this one just kind of like drove the point home. So when we started watching My Hero Academia, and she actually enjoyed it and gave a shit about watching, she didn't want us to watch it without her. That's when I knew.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that happened with me. I was because while I was home on quarantine, I started Death Note, and then I went over to her house and I started watching it. And she got into it. She was like, "Oh, what is this?" I was like, "This is an anime called Death Note. It's about this, that, and the third." She was like, "Oh," and then she sat there and watched like 3 episodes with me, didn't say shit, and then after it was over, she asked a whole bunch of questions. She was like, "Yeah, I would like this. I would watch an anime like this. I like this genre of anime." I was like, "Oh, you like anime now?"
Oh, so you're a keeper.
Yeah, you're a keeper. Yeah. Shooting that club up tonight.
Hey, man, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was gonna say, back to what we were originally talking about. She's pregnant, so we were all worried, what was gonna happen with the baby and everything. But her symptoms are so mild. I was like, all right, maybe Clyde will be okay. We ain't got nothing to worry about. But you can't go to the doctor right now anyway until she gets a negative test.
Okay. So she has it?
Oh no, we all have it. Everybody in the house got it.
Oh wow!
But everybody was good. Like all our symptoms were extremely minor. My mother-in-law was like sick for one night. She was like throwing up and had like stomach pain. And literally the next morning, not even 24 hours later, she was right as rain. And my wife was a little congested. She lost taste and smell, but that's it. Like we all. I really got to make sure I'm clear about this. We were very, very lucky, because we got it very, very minor. Her family in Miami has it at the same time, and they were a little worse off. Like her,
they in Miami though.
Yeah, but her aunt ended up having to go to the hospital. She's still there right now. Like it caused like blood clots and stuff. Like she was, they were all scared. So, like I said, we got off real easy, and I don't want to discount that.
Yeah, man, I'll be if that shit happened to me, I'll be scared shitless, man. Like, not to undermine anything that anybody else is going through. I'd be worried about the baby more than anything.
Yeah, that's
like
what we all were.
That'd be. I'm like, y'all are adults. Y'all are here already. I'm worried about the one inside. Yeah, and that got to be crazy, man. Praise you and your family, man. That's crazy.
We like once everybody got their test, because my son, we never tested him yet. We just kind of assumed like, if we all have it, he's got it. No point making him go through the swab up into your brain.
Yeah, that shit crazy.
So but we didn't really say anything to him. He just knew I was sick, and then my wife kind of, I don't know, I guess like she didn't want to tell him and worry him, because it's the same thing. He knows about coronavirus. He just thinks that if you get it, you die. Like. And of course, he's online playing, Minecraft and Roblox with his idiot friends all day, and they're like, "Oh, do you have coronavirus? You're gonna die, man!" It's like, yo, I had to pull him aside, and they're like, "Listen, bro, like, yeah, I have COVID, and look, I'm fine. Like, we're past the worst part." And he's like, "Are you gonna be okay?" Like, he was the same thing as your daughter. He was worried because he only heard, the worst stuff about it. I said, "Listen, if I was gonna be really bad, which was a possibility, but look, we're a week and a half past that, and I'm still fine. So we're past the point. You don't have to worry." And then I really fucked him up when I was like, "And guess what? You probably have it too." And he was like, "What?" I'm like, "And look, you feel totally fine. Like, you don't have to be scared, man." And I fucked his whole world up with that one.
Yeah, man. Like that was my fear too. I was like, how long have I had this shit? Because I was in contact with my kids beforehand, so I was like, could I have given it to them? Are they sick? Because I remember they had a scare in like December where they had a Christmas gathering, and somebody in the house, like one person in the house had corona. I'm like, oh shit, that whole house got that shit. Mom, grandma, daughters, grandfathers, all that shit. I'm like, goddamn. But it's like, it turned out it turned out to be just that one person. Nobody really caught it from there. So when it was my turn, I was like, damn, did I get my kids the Rona? But they was good too. So I was like, thank God. Like, if it's just me, cool, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Them, I'm like, God damn.
But that's the scary part because, you know, by the time you realize you have it, it's already too late most of the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you live under the same roof, you know, everybody's breathing the same air. God forbid you go in the car for an hour and a half like I did with everybody. I mean, it was unavoidable, and that's the shitty part.
Yeah, that day, the last day I worked before I quarantined, I actually got a ride home from somebody, and I wasn't feeling the best, and I thought I gave it to him. I was like, damn, like I would have felt really horrible if he offered me a ride home and then I gave him coronavirus in exchange. Like,
right?
not gas money, but I gave him corona.
That's a shitty repayment.
That's a shit. That's fucked up.
Listen, man.
But nah,
if you pay me back and I end up coughing, it better not be from fucking getting sick.
Yeah, man. Better be weed or something, man.
Exactly.
Don't fucking give me Rona.
So now this is one of the big takeaways I've had from this whole experience. Being home, being out of work for 3 weeks now, it made me it didn't make me realize, it reminded me like how much I don't want to go back to work. Like ever again, like at all, not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
And I was like, fuck. Like I told my wife, I'm like, I kind of feel bad. Like I know, like I'm, you know, essentially the breadwinner for the household. And so I just don't want to go back. Like, you think we could figure out a way to? I don't have to do this anymore. Like, I'm thinking,
yeah, man.
Can I just quit?
I was sitting at home, like after I had got up out the bed and I started to feel better, I was plotting on ways of how the fuck I could, you know, be at home and do this more. Where, you know, like I said, I take the train and the bus to work, so I don't get much time at home. So I might wake up at 6. I don't get back home until, like, on a good day, I might not get home until like 7 p.m. maybe. Mm-hmm. So that doesn't afford me much time to do me before I got to go to sleep and do the shit all over again. So I've been working at this job 6 years this month. 6 years I've been miserable. So I'm like, if I could find a way to make money and be home and take care of, if I could pay my bills, get food, take care of my kids, and just be home, like I'm working on that currently. I'm not there yet. It's gonna take a few years, but I'm gonna get there eventually. I cannot do this 9 to 5 shit. This shit is not in my DNA to do.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things I felt really guilty about is that, like, I have a good job as far as jobs go. Like, you know, it's,
yeah, right.
You know, it's a blue collar job. Like, I'm out in the elements. Like, it can be hard at times, like just like everybody else, but it's, you know, it can be physically hard. But at the end of the day, like, I'm still lucky to have the fucking job. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, right.
I'll make sure I count my blessings here. A lot of people, you know, have to work, you know, 2-3 jobs just to make ends meet. And, you know, I'm very lucky that I was able to get the career that I have. But I don't know, man. I just feel like, so, you know, some people, like, they have a job, their career, like that's part of their identity. It's like, oh, I do this. I'm a CFO of this company, or I'm the best plumber in, you know, this side of the Mississippi, whatever the fuck it is. But like for me, my job has always kind of been like, yeah, this is what I do to pay the bills. Like, this is not who I am as a person. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it's been that thing of, you know, you busting your ass, you not wasting your time, but you're essentially like giving up your life for work. Like, that just becomes you. Like, yeah. Our grandparents, our parents, like, that's all they did. They worked and they came home. They took vacations every now and then. But then once that 1 or 2 weeks is over, you back to working fucking a year straight, 2 years straight, doing the same monotonous shit for years and years on end. And seeing that just never looked appealing to me. Like, being at a job for 30 years never looked appealing to me. And still struggling.
Well, it's crazy too, because the older generations, like, those were the ones where you saw their career was part of their identity. You know, it's like, oh, my grandfather was a postman for 35 years. And, you know, that was people knew him as that. He was respected. Like, he supported a family. He had a house and a wife who didn't work and 3 kids on, you know, a postman's wages. And that was cool. Everybody was comfortable. And it's different now for us because it's like, no. We can't have those same jobs we had before and still support ourselves and a whole family. Like, you know, everything's more expensive, but we're still making the same money. And it's like our generation, we're the first ones to kind of see like the curtain pulled back. It's like, no, that whole American dream bullshit, like that don't work anymore. That's why they call it a dream, because you got to be asleep to believe it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like, it's man, not like that. Those opportunities aren't there for us the same way they were for our parents' generation.
Yeah, but like at some point, like it has to, like when you dream of like what's your dream when you're a kid? You don't dream of being the fucking best plumber in, I don't know, wherever you at. You don't dream of being a fucking assistant principal. You don't dream of being like that. You have like big grandiose dreams. It's just that maybe you didn't have the means to chase it back then. But now, like, all this shit is at our fingertips. Like, I say this shit all the time on Twitter. Your phone is gonna make you a millionaire. All you gotta do is find out what you're good at, what your thing is.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, but
that's all you gotta do.
That's one of the big things with our generation and the fucking Gen Z after us, is that we figured out that, you know, now with the internet, everything's more accessible. Like the gatekeepers, like, yeah, you're a gatekeeper for this area, but the internet just opened everything up here. So we're just going to go around and find our own way through.
Yeah, go.
You know?
Exactly.
But
it's crazy to just watch somebody wither away at a job. And like, I know you have bigger aspirations than this. Like this job don't give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Like it really don't. Like if you were to hurt yourself on a job, or, you know, ultimately like die or something, not on a job, but if you would happen to pass away, your job will mourn you for like 2 days, then it'll be a job posting. They don't give a fuck. These niggas don't care about you. Like, they will replace you.
We're reminded of that every day too, because I mean, I know in my line of work in construction, like, that legitimately happens. People can die on a job, and it's happened before. And the saying is like, yeah, you know, it's a shame, you know, but you know, the job goes on, and it's true. Like, we were working at this one job down on Columbus Boulevard in Jersey City, and one of the window guys at Glazers, they were, you know, working up way high, and those guys, they have special rules, or all their tools have to be tied off so they can't drop anything, whatever. And something happened where one guy, he lost his tape measure. The tape measure fell off the side of the building from like the roof, and it just so happened there was a delivery driver making a delivery, didn't have his hard hat on. The fucking tape measure came down, hit the side of the building, and like shot off, hit the fucking poor guy in the head. The guy died on the way to the hospital. And guess what? I still had to work. You know, they didn't shut the job down. Nobody went home. Like, hey, you know, you got stuff to do. Let's go. Keep moving. Like, this poor bastard just got killed on the job. Like,
got killed walking down the street making a delivery.
Right. And look, the job goes on. You know, like, yeah, it was in the newspaper or whatever. Like, but nothing really changed for us. And it just, we're reminded every day. Like, yeah, we're expendable. We're just numbers to these companies that we work for, that we're legitimately selling parts of our life to. That's what we're doing. That's what a job is. You're selling your part of your life for money.
For a paycheck.
That's all it is. And that's, maybe like the older generations, maybe they identified with their jobs as kind of like a coping mechanism. Do you ever think about, I was thinking about that. It's like, maybe they took so much pride in their work, because it's like, if not, they would have just been miserable. They would have went crazy. I mean, some of them arguably did go crazy, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe I don't know, maybe that's what it was. Like, yeah, I love my job, because if I don't love my job, then what the fuck else is there, you know?
Yeah, you need something to latch on to. You need an identity of something. You need something like that can be like, hey, I can associate that with him. But that's not the case now. You know, we got so many options in today. Like, you know, you don't have to be a fucking coal miner. You don't have to build skyscrapers. You don't got to work on an oil rig. You know, you could actually do something that you have an interest in. Not even that you have an interest in, that just looks fun. You know, a lot of the people that do content creation now, they started it because it looked fun. You know, you see all these people on podcasts, you see them on YouTube, you see them on Instagram and Twitter and shit. Things they do just look fun. I'm not looking to, you know, for financial gain. It just looks like something cool to do while I'm not at work. And then once you realize you could turn this fun in the funds,
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, okay, now I see I don't have to work a fucking 9 to 5 like my mom did, get a pension to retire when I'm 65. I don't gotta do all that shit. I can make hundreds of thousands of dollars just being on the internet and doing what I love to do, putting my mind to work instead of just doing this tedious, monotonous shit day in and day out. I cannot do it. That shit literally depresses me every time I go to work.
It feels like it takes part of your soul every time you think
Every
about
day.
it. Realize what you're doing. It's like, oh, I just died a little bit more right there.
Every day I go to work, I'm just like, yo, I could be home, get so much more done. I got so many more ideas. I got a book I want to write. There's so many more pages I can get done. This shit I want to do for the podcast I can do. I cannot do this shit pushing this goddamn truck, delivering this mail, doing all this shit. Even though this job pays for the equipment that I will inevitably buy to do the shit that I want to do. But it's just the day in and day out of this just same tedious, monotonous shit, man. It's mind numbing. I can't do it.
That's the worst part sometimes, when the job is like just monotony, like the same thing over and over and over, and you literally have to shut your brain down just to survive making it through.
But for most people, well, with me, like I said, the past 6 years, I don't get much time to myself. Like I said, I wake up at 6, I don't get home till like 7. So it's like you need an hour of like wind down time. You got to eat. You got to prepare your lunch for tomorrow or whatever the case may be. Get your clothes ready. By the time you do all that, like, all right, caught your second win. I'm going to do something for me. It's 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Then now it's time to go to sleep. And if you don't sleep, you won't perform well at work. And then, you'll be tired at work. And then, your performance starts to fail. And then, it's just the whole thing of being an adult and having responsibilities. But, with the money that's coming in, I was fortunate enough to be an essential worker. So during the whole pandemic, I was able to work where a lot of people lost their jobs. They was on unemployment. But, that was a saving grace. But still, I felt like some days, shouldn't I be home too? Aren't I at risk more than the normal person? Shouldn't I, take a couple of days off, whatever?
Yep. I felt the same thing. Like, how the fuck did I get deemed essential? Building a fucking luxury high-rise is essential? Get the fuck out of my face with that shit.
Look, the CEO says, hey, come hell or high water, this shit has to be built. Look who's on the front lines. You exposing yourself. And then you expose your knows what can happen after that. So I'm doing all this so you can have a fucking building, so you can collect money. Yeah. I'm not dying for you.
But that's another thing. Like, that's part of that feeds into the whole, like, you're selling your soul and you die a little bit. It's like, I know that what I'm doing is fucked up because I'm just making money for some other rich asshole that doesn't really need it and doesn't give a shit about me or my family or who I might, harm in the process. So It's like, I know that this is fucked up and I'm stuck. I'm still doing it right now because at the moment it's still the best option I have, which is crazy when you say it out loud. The
best option you have. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, I feel like this generation knows that that's not the only option they have. And like, I think we're the last generation that's like we had to learn that. I feel like the generation under us, like, they come into that, like they know off rip, like with YouTube and all this shit, they know that they can be content creators. Like, my daughter's 6 talking about she watching Ryan Roblox, she watching FGTV
tubers or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah,
that shit. She watching them. She watching
my
a
son
whole
watches
bunch of other
Think
shit.
Noodles and this Ethan Gamer TV, whatever, all these bullshit things.
She watches all that shit and wants to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I actually like tried to do something with Tyler. So we made the YouTube channel and everything, and it's like half the time it's like pulling teeth just to get him to go record a video for his own shit that I'm gonna do all the work for. All he's got to do is sit and play a game and just say crazy shit. But yeah, that's one of the things that I always think about too, is that we see that it's possible to be like an entrepreneur in terms of like being an influencer or a podcaster or a fucking YouTuber or anything. But it's at the same time, everybody else is seeing that, and the market gets flooded real quick, like it is right now. Like I watched this documentary on HBO. It's called Fake Famous, and it's all about like they were doing an experiment on seeing if they could create an influencer, like based, and you know, the guy would like document everything. He would like buy fake likes and followers and stuff for these 3 people and see if they could kind of make somebody famous through just bullshit, just to kind of expose how fake the whole thing is. And one, they gave a stat at the beginning. They were saying that like, there's over like 100 million people on Instagram that have over 100,000 followers, which is like, I mean, I only know one person with over 100,000 followers, and that's Bobby. And it's like,
that's it.
There's 100 million more motherfuckers out there with that many followers, you know? And it makes you take a step back and be like, this whole thing, you know, are we saying that there's that many famous people, you know, because there's still, yeah, how many people are going to walk by Bobby in the street and not know who he is? I would say, no offense to Bobby, but, you know, arguably most people are going to, you know, walk by and be like, yeah, that's just the guy. Oh no, he's got 100,000 followers on Instagram. Like he's somebody now, you know.
he had like listen to that. He has 100,000 followers. That's a stat. Like everything is numbers. Is how many followers do you have? How many likes do you have? How many viewers do you have? What are the analytics? It's like everything is numbers. Like the people don't boil down to the actual real question. Do you have a talent?
Yeah.
Why are you famous? What are you famous for? Bobby has a creative mind. He makes memes. He makes people laugh. He makes people feel good.
Yeah, he
I see why he has
created
100,000 followers. Yes, and it's organic. I don't like. I've known Bobby maybe 4 years. He don't seem like the type of motherfucker that'll buy followers. So I would say that's all organic, right? But then out of those 100 millions of people that have followers, how many of those people bought those followers? How many of those followers are bots?
Yeah.
What do you like? What is the end goal of you being famous? Do you just want attention? Do you want money? Do you like what do you want out of the fame? Like I don't get why people do half the shit they do.
Here's the thing. In that documentary I was talking about, one of the 3 people they followed was this girl, and they bought followers and they built up, which eventually she had like over 100,000 followers. But when people see like that big number, they think, oh, she must be somebody. And then those fake followers end up turning into real organic followers. And then companies see that, brands see that, and they think, oh, she's got a following. Let's send her some free stuff so she could show it to her following. And then she was living in LA, so she would go to auditions. She was like an aspiring actress. And like they would look on the people's social media while they're doing auditions and say, oh, she's got a following. Maybe we should cast her. And all of a sudden she starts getting all these callbacks, and that fake number ends up turning into real world, benefits. Right. So it's crazy. It's literally one of those things where it's like you have to have money to make money.
Yeah.
It's like one of those kind of things. So and it ended up turning into something legitimate for this girl, which is wild. But she also recognized, like, okay, this started off as fake. I'm just like trying on sunglasses that these random companies send me, and I'm just perpetuating this whole thing, which is fine. Good for her. I'm not gonna knock her. That's great. But I would probably do the same thing. But at the same time, like you kind of recognize that the whole system is, it's like a house of cards almost.
It's flawed. It's fucked up. If y'all see me with 900 followers on Instagram and that shit shoots to like 22,000, don't ask me shit. Don't ask me no questions. I'm trying to get this money. I'm trying to be out here, man. Don't ask me a goddamn thing. What do? I fucking do Instagram. That's all I do. I'm gonna start documenting shit. I'm gonna start putting out more videos and photos of me just doing just stupid shit.
That's
shit that
weird
don't matter.
Because there's no way to kind of predict like what's going to pop online, what's going to go viral. It's so random, and it's like, you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle, essentially. So you have all these people, you see some people that do go viral, do get huge followings, and it's like, what's so interesting about this fucking jerk off? Like, you don't do anything. You're not funny. You're not creating anything that's for damn sure. So like, why are all these people interested in watching, you eat eggs in the morning?
Like the weirdest accounts I see on Instagram are when people make accounts for their kids. I think that's the weirdest shit in the world.
You think that's weirder than when people make accounts for their dogs?
No, because people like dogs. People like there are dog lovers. I understand dog lovers. So people like animals. I get that. But I think when you make an Instagram for your child that has no clue what Instagram is, nor does he or she have a phone, it's the weirdest shit ever. And I hate couple accounts. I hate couples that y'all try to act like y'all doing something organic while all y'all doing is following a trend, trying to get popping. Y'all trying to, think like, oh, I'm going to play this trick on such and such. And you're trying to make it seem so organic and everything's just, out the blue. It's just like,
there's a reason why you fucks
sketch.
didn't make it in Hollywood, because these are clearly, not organic. You guys are not good actors.
It's not well acted. We've seen it 100 times. Like, we've seen the people that do it good. We've seen them do it, on a higher scale. You're just copycatting, trying to catch fame. Like, I saw something the other day where it was like this guy I went to high school with, him and his girl got an account, and they just doing like the same thing. They doing like skits, trying to play pranks and shit like that. I'm like, yo, this shit is whack. It's not organic, but they have like 33,000 followers. I'm like, and like I told my girl, she was like, nah, you hating. I was like, no, this shit is not organic. They probably bought those followers because the followers and the likes don't match up. I'm like, yo, it's something about this where they're trying to gain steam. They're trying to have people look at the page like, oh, they have thousands of followers, or they have a K on the end of their followers. It's just all smoke and mirrors. It's all bullshit. Yeah. I hate it.
I hate it too, but at the same time, it's like we see that they can translate into real shit. You know what I mean?
If you're good, they're not good.
No. I seen my buddy Shamor. Shout out to Shamor and Alexia. They were on the podcast way back. But they kind of did that. Like, they started, like, they're very religious. So they kind of started thinking the two of them together. It's all about, like, Christian love and everything. Not my bag, but, they're nice people. So shout out to them. And at least, they're an attractive couple. Like, they're kind of funny together. So it's like, all right, good. I hope you guys do something with that. But you can see, like you said, you can see when somebody's got talent, when it's natural, and then when it's fucking fake and contrived. It's very obvious, and it's super frustrating when you see the real fake and the real contrived shit, like the shit that looks forced. When you see that pop, that just makes me lose faith in humanity.
Like, like everybody thinks they can do it now. This whole boom of podcasters and social media influencers, it's just a bunch of bullshit at this point. Y'all just see a dollar sign.
Do you remember that guy Julius Dean? He was like a magician. He was on social media. He was doing the shit where he was like running up to people on the street in all different countries doing like card tricks and like funny stuff. He even had the thing where he did the one where he was like with Drake in a club and he made the lollipop look like Batman.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That guy, like, when he came out and he got big and popped, like, that was cool. He was doing magic tricks. Okay, it's interesting. It's a talent. But then it became, his whole account was like him and his girlfriend, like, playing like fake pranks on each other, where it's like, clearly you guys are acting. Like, this is not even good acting. And it's like, are you that desperate to keep these likes up that you're gonna put out this stuff that's clearly like bullshit and not good, not even what you got, what you blew up for? Like, something totally separate. Like, it to me, it stinks of this like desperation, this need to get those likes. But at the same time, it's like, all right, well, this guy is, he's got followers and the numbers where it's like, okay, he's monetized this. Like, there's funds involved. There's a bag somewhere along the line for this guy if he keeps these numbers up. So I get you trying to keep that train moving, but you don't see that this is not it. This is stupid now.
I feel like I feel like it's like the Kevin Hart effect. Like, you don't have the right people in your corner, because I've seen a lot of these social media comedians that, they get this big following off of maybe like 2 or 3 videos, and then they really pop off of that. But they have to keep dishing out content to keep the followers up and keep the people entertained and keep people laughing. But then like the shit that they're pushing out is not funny. Because I remember when Fat Boy was popping. Fat Boy, he used to do all these things. They used to be around food or whatever. He used to yell a lot. But then after a while,
by the way, shout out to the Fat Boys. Rest in peace to Prince.
Oh, Prince Marky D. Yeah, rest in peace to him. But like, with Shiggy was known for like, doing skits, and then like dancing was the thing that really popped him off. Now Shiggy has to do a skit or dance every fucking video, and he has to do it like 2-3 times a week, and it's just not funny. It's not creative, but they had to keep pushing out content. They can keep these numbers up and stay in people's faces. And I never want to be a person like that, where I was like, yo, I feel like I have to do this. I feel like once you do something creative, you do something funny worth putting out, then you put that out. But these people that feel forced to have to do this shit, that I couldn't imagine a life like that. Like, that shit seems horrible.
Yeah, it's almost like being a salesman. It's like you got to get that next sale, and it's one of those things where it's not really in your control. Like you have to figure out that angle each different time, with each different customer essentially, and that's what being a content creator is. You have to create the content and hope it hits. You know, you got to hope people like it, and it's not really in your control. That's at the end of the day. You know, you could just make the best thing you can make and hope people like it.
Yeah, I've seen one comedian constantly put out material, and it's always good. It always makes me smile or makes me laugh, and that's Desi Banks. He always puts out some original that I've never seen. That either I've never seen it or I haven't seen it in a while. But it's always well acted, well orchestrated. Everyone's in sync. Everyone is on the same page. Whether it's acting, whether it's you stand here, maybe you're not an actor, but I need you for this. Like everything's in sync. He'll be having skits where he'll work at different places, and I'm just like, yo, how the fuck does he get access to all these places? Like, who's letting him work the fryer at like a fucking Shake Shack or some shit? Like, who's letting him into like a town fair tie? Like, who's letting him do this shit? But it's just like when you build up that type of cachet, and people know you from social media, like, yo, I gotta do a skit here. It's gonna be funny, this and the third. And every time he pushes something out, it's always funny. It's always original, and I like that type of shit. It's like he gets it. Like these other people, they just sticking to the same shtick and thinking it's going to work. Like, oh, this made them laugh in 2017. Let me try it in 2021 to see if that. Like, nah. Like, what's the other couple? The Puerto Rican couple.
Oh, it's a chick.
The girl used to always yell at him.
Yeah.
They was doing that for a while.
Melanie.
Yeah. So they was doing that shit for a while. Then it was like, okay, you're gonna do something. She yells. You act scared or timid or whatever. What else do you guys do? So
well, you know what's crazy?
They had to keep pushing out content.
If you look at their shit, like you could see, like they monetized it. Like they're living in a nice ass apartment now. Like they. It's like, how long is that train going to keep rolling for, though? Like you said, I mean,
exactly. Like
it's the same thing that you said with Kevin Hart. That same shtick. Like you're not giving us anything new, and that's not going to be funny forever. At some point, we're going to be bored of it.
At time, like we've seen the bear riding a tricycle. We need him to do something else. Like we've seen that a million times.
You know who impresses me because he's got such a simple formula, and it's just no like flashiness to it. There's nothing, but it still works. Schuler King, you know him? He used to be on like Wild 'N Out and stuff, and his Instagram is literally just him looking at like crazy like internet videos and just basically doing commentary on it. But for whatever reason, like it's just him sitting in the car, and he's got his little catchphrase like, "Anybody want to tell me why?" You know, and he just goes on about something. But it's funny, and it's simple. There's no frills. There's nothing fancy about it. But it's just him talking, and it's clearly he's got a talent. He's got like a way with words. He's got a delivery that, you know, it's funny, and people enjoy it. And plus, the internet is like a never-ending well of stupid and crazy videos. So it's like that formula works. It's kind of like an evergreen thing. But I don't know. I think it's funny.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people like that put out the content. It's always funny, but it's just like, okay, after a while, you need to have a backup plan, because once this thing doesn't hit the likes that you want or doesn't get the reaction that you want, you got to start doing something else. And I feel like that's going to be the downfall for a lot of people. You're like, y'all get into this social media game thinking like, hey, I can just keep doing this for 5, 6, 7 years. Like, no, I don't think you got that long, buddy. You might have your 15 seconds. That shit might be 30 seconds, but after a while, it's like we moving on to somebody else. There's somebody popping up on social media every day.
Yep. So now let's take a step back. Think of like we said, the older generations who didn't grow up with the internet, or when the internet was already there. Like they kind of saw it. They were already past that point in their lives. So our parents' generations, even Gen X to a certain extent. Like they're looking at us. They're looking at the the Gen Z kids, and they like to take cheap shots. They love to blame everything. Oh, millennials did this. They're lazy. They're entitled. Blah 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 blah. I get really, really tight, really angry when I hear dumb shit like that. Do you have any feelings on that? Like, have you heard stuff like you heard these comments that you know, they like to say, you know, you guys, you know, you're overeducated, you're this. What?
Yeah.
How do you feel about?
I hear that. How I feel about that is, I feel like they associate like hard work or being like active with actually like doing something or going outside, like they don't know that this whole internet era is opening up a plethora of opportunities that I don't have to leave my house for, that I don't have to do all the physical labor that you had to do back in the day. Like if you think about like how just easy, like how easy dating is now, like I ain't got to go to a fucking juke joint. I ain't got to go to the bar. I don't got to meet somebody through somebody. I can literally pull up an app, swipe left or right on a couple people. That's how I meet people. Like
I don't have to go to a disco and try to get a woman home with me through cocaine and lies.
Yeah, like you gotta try to woo somebody. You gotta try to do all this shit. Like, nah, man, we made things so compact, so simple, and they're just stuck in their old ways of like getting out there and doing it. Like I said before, I don't have to go work on the oil rig. Like y'all associate hard work with that, like working in a fucking coal mine and coming back black.
Yeah,
like, y'all associate
labor.
work with that. Yeah, like it's not that no more, Grandma, we didn't
move
on.
They
to
go work in
else.
They go work in a coal mine all day and they come back all black. So, can I say the N-word now?
Yeah, exactly. Like it's something crazy like that. But it's like we have evolved to a point where, like, okay, so we've evolved to a point from our grandparents and parents was like, yeah, we have this now. We're able to do this with this much easier. And then as time goes on, our kids are gonna look at our old ways and be like, listen, we offer that. We got this and we can do this much easier than y'all used to do it. And it always sometimes they get it. Sometimes older people get it. They're like, okay, this internet thing, and now maybe it starts with Facebook half the time. They're like, oh, what's this Facebook thing? Oh, I can talk to somebody I went to high school with in '84. Yeah. I was like, yeah, like you don't have to live in the same state or get their phone number to talk to them. You can talk to them right over the messenger. It's like, oh, that's simple and easy, but I feel like it's just a thing that they're stuck in their ways and they're used to a certain pattern of how things used to go. And I don't want to say it's hate, but it's just like there's a certain type of envy that comes with that. It was like, yo, I had to do this, this, and this to get this, to live like this. All you have to do is this one thing. I had to do 8 things. You got to do 1 or 2. It's like it comes with the territory. Like I try not to take it to heart because I know they're older and they just come from a different generations. But at times it does get annoying. I was like, if you just be open-minded and look into like the possibilities of what this is bringing us and how easier it just makes life, you would just see the benefits of it. And maybe you wouldn't be so angry or you wouldn't have that type of animosity towards me.
Well, I think to a certain extent that's just a human thing because being a parent, I'm sure you've experienced this too. You see your kids doing something like, you think that's cool? You think that's rough? When I was a kid, we had to do this in school. We didn't have laptops when I went to school. Like we had to fucking sit on the floor in gym class and roll on the fucking rollers to do like crab soccer, and like roll over each other's fingers and shit. You motherfuckers aren't even allowed to play dodgeball. And like, I get that. I get where that comes from. I think that's a very human thing, and it's kind of not much we could do to avoid it. So when older generations, they say, oh, you guys do this, like, you don't know what tough is. But at some point, like, you have to be self-aware. Like, I feel that, but I've also realized, like, okay, that's not my son's fault. Like, that's the world that he's growing up in. That's all he knows. Like, things are different now, and a lot of times for a good reason. Yeah. And there's too many people that they find it too easy to criticize every fucking thing. And it's like, guys, you don't like the way our generation was raised? Guess who fucking raised us?
Yes, guess who fucking raised us?
Yeah. Maybe you should kind of spin around looking at that little mirror there, buddy.
Like that fucking Atari is going to turn into a Nintendo, and then Nintendo's going to turn into a PlayStation 5. Like everything's about evolution. It's not going to be the same forever. You just have to get over that. I showed my fucking daughter a Nintendo controller. She looked at me like I was stupid. Like, you used to play this? Like, it's 2 buttons. It's an A and a B, a select, a start, and you get 4 directions. She looked at me like I was fucking stupid.
Like, Dad, there's only 2 buttons on here. How do I move the camera? Oh, no. Like, you don't move the camera.
There is no camera. There are no triggers. You can't, choose what you. No, we're doing this. It's stationary, 8-bit. Like, she used to 3D graphics and moving the camera and all, having all these options. I'm like, nah, we don't do this. Yeah. She looked at me like, man, I don't want this old shit. Get this shit out my face, nigga. Trying to put me on and yell shit like, yo, this shit was dope back in the day. This used to be my shit. Dad, that ain't my shit though. My shit is Minecraft and Roblox. I don't know what the fuck this Super Mario shit is, where you only get a fireball and like he run awkward. It's just stupid. Like, she wasn't into that shit at all.
And it hurts a little bit sometimes with something you love so much when you were young, and they just don't. They couldn't care less about it.
Yeah, but like, you gotta find the things though.
Yeah.
It's but like, sometimes it's games, sometimes it's music, sometimes it's art, sometimes it's just clothing. It's something from back in the day that they'll like yo, that's kind of fly. Other shit, they were like, yo, my brain is so more advanced than yours was at my age. I'm not with none of this shit.
Yeah. So one of the things about like older generations criticizing us, especially as millennials, because that's like that, it became like a buzzword at one point where it's like every young person is called a millennial. It's like, you realize there's like a 20-year span here of difference. Like, you're talking about kids now versus us who are in our mid to late 30s now, or early 30s. Some of us. I guess we're on the older end of millennial.
God
but it's
damn.
like, we're totally different. Like, the world that we knew is not the world that they know. So like, stop. First of all, get your fucking words right, because you're gonna upset me now. I get very hot with this stuff. And like I said before, like, there's such a lack of self-awareness in some people. And I don't want to make a huge blanket statement here, but there's a lot of people out there who just have no care in the world for whatever terms they use, and they make themselves sound dumb. And on top of that, they're so not aware of themselves that they don't even realize how fucking dumb they look. So it's like they say these crazy things like, oh, you guys, you want everything for free. It's like, no, we don't want everything for free. We want what you had. Like, you guys got shit for a reasonable cost. Like, you guys could go to college and not, be paying essentially a mortgage for the next 30 years. Like, you guys could work a regular job and still have a family, still, be a single income family and raise, 3 kids off of, like I said before, like, I knew a family, like, the grandfather was a mailman for 30 years. He was the only one that worked, and he had 3 kids and a wife who stayed home and took care of the kids. And just that salary was able to afford all that. You can't do that now.
It was good.
Like, we grew up when we had, a financial crisis. We had the Great Recession. We watched our parents, maybe you worked for fucking Enron, where you lost your whole your pension. You worked at this company for all these years, and it just disappeared because some greedy fuck at the top was playing with the books. We saw the stock market collapse and people get evicted. People lose their homes, their jobs, their savings, everything. Like, we saw how kind of thin that veil is over all this shit. So we don't trust the system anymore. Unfortunately, we don't trust our government to do what's right, because we know that everything is corrupt now. There's all this crazy shit that we feel like we're completely on our own. So yeah, no wonder we look at social media and we think, oh, that would be great to be an influencer. I don't have a boss. I don't have to worry about some greedy fucking CEO at the top, squandering all the hard work we've done and just bankrupting the company and then disappear off into the fucking Caribbean with a golden parachute and a couple million bonus for running a company into the ground. The fucking cocksucker. Sorry. But we see that, like, our parents' generation, they were the baby boomers. When they came up, they're kind of like what Gen Z, well, not really what Gen Z is, but like, they came up when it was like the golden age. Like, they had strong unions. People could, like we said, work a regular job and support a family. Like, they had, like, the government actually did things that were good for people back then. Like, they came up and everything was literally handed to them. And what happened? Everything got run into the ground. And now we're the ones who are coming of age where we have to pick up the pieces. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I fight it, but to a certain extent, I can't help feel really resentful. And if you want to say, people say, oh, you're ageist. Like, you know what? Yeah, I kind of am a little bit. Because not only did they fuck up a great thing, but they have the nerve to talk shit to us like it's our fault. It's like, last time I checked, I was 21 when the financial collapse happened, 22. Like, guess what? I didn't really have any stake in the stock market. I didn't have a hand in that. That was you guys. That was you fucks. Like, why are you coming down on me? Like, it's my fault. Like, I have to clean up your fucking mess.
They need somebody to blame, man. I mean, yeah, they need somebody to blame. It's easy to blame you.
Yeah, well, they never look in the mirror. That's the thing. Like, never take responsibility.
Never, man. I mean, that's how it goes, man. Hopefully we don't become those people. Hopefully we do way better than the people before us did, and we could actually, give our kids some encouragement, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a big thing too. That's a big difference with our generation is we've normalized so many things. Like, look at the conversations that we're able to have. Like we've had on this show, on your show. Shout out to Domino Effect. But like we have real conversations that 40 years ago you wouldn't catch two grown men dead talking about emotions on a fucking public platform. You know what I mean? Like that would never happen. Like we're allowing ourselves to be a little more vulnerable and actually reflect on what's really going on instead of just bottling everything up and eventually dying. You know what I mean? Like we recognize that.
That's a great thing that we have, and I want to say that's partly because of the internet. Like we get to see the error firsthand we get to see the error in our parents' ways, and we get to, I guess, take that and internalize that and then turn it into something else positive. But also we get to see the world, how the world views stuff, how other adults view stuff, and we get to be like, oh, we get to smarten up for that, and then we like, oh, we can kind of shift this narrative. Being that all this information that we get on a daily basis, it's like, oh, people really think like that. They feel like that. Let me try to, shift this in a way and not raise my people or just be a better person for me. Let me change some things about myself because that shit is really ugly over there.
Yeah. And as much as we like to knock how much the internet has kind of fucked a lot of stuff up, there's some really beautiful things that came from that, like the amount of stuff. It's
a double-edged sword, man.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a lot of information, but at the same time, it's a lot of information, and it's unfortunately too much for some people. We're not supposed to take in all this information. That's why people, you don't really need all the social media platforms that you have. You don't need to hear everything everyone has to say. You don't need to be like. I think people have FOMO. And I think it's been intensified times like 100 because of social media. Like you don't want to be the one that doesn't see the funny meme, the funny video. You don't want to miss the news story. You just don't want to be out to know. And it's just created this anxiety for people. But you got to learn I think we're the last generation because we didn't initially have it when we were born. Like we know how to turn that switch off. But like my kids and your kids, it's going to be damn near impossible because this is the age that they've been in. When a girl gives birth, like their child is on the internet. Fucking child is like 3 days old, so that's all you know is the internet. Yep. No, you're right. Like we are the last generation who has any recollection of what the world was like without the internet.
Exactly.
But at the same time, we literally grew up alongside the internet. Like we were there when the internet was in its infancy, and we kind of came up with it. So we've been able to keep up with that. I think most of us, at least. I know there's still like the fucking randos like, oh, I'm not on Facebook. It's like, yeah, really? Like, are you just that boring? Is that what you're trying to say? Like, but anyway,
it's always one.
There's more than one. Let's be honest. There's more than one.
Right.
Yeah, I think that we are. Like us in our specific age range, we're in a very unique spot that our kids are not going to be able to understand and our parents aren't able to understand, because you see like when older folks get on Facebook and they think that, they don't have the etiquette. They don't know like, oh, no, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to comment on every single picture someone has. You know what I mean? Because that looks kind of weird.
You're not supposed to, post every picture that you take and post it to Facebook. Like that's not what it's for.
Yeah, they have like you see like your weird older uncle has like the selfie where it's just like taken from underneath, like, and they always look confused. And there's 19 in a row of the same picture.
Oh my God! I pray like it's a couple things I pray for when I get older. I pray I never become that nigga that takes the fucking picture from like down at his waist and just looking down the camera like this. How you take pictures? This how you do it, and then post it. Like be dumb enough to post it. Like it's just some things that I feel like we need to coach them on, but at some point it's like, yeah, we just let them go. They'll either get it or they won't.
But I feel like if you need to tell someone, like, hey, why don't you look at the picture you're posting before you post it? If you need to tell someone that, I feel like there's not a lot of hope for them to begin with.
I mean, but it's still like talking to your elders. It's like you don't want to tell them what to do, but it's like you in my space now. Yeah. So I got to tell you, like, yo, this is how you navigate the space. I mean, you look crazy out here.
So, but I'm only gonna ask you one more question before we end this thing, because we've got a good amount of time going here.
Yeah.
So we see, like the Facebook is kind of not what it used to be. Instagram is starting to not what it used to be. Twitter is kind of whatever the fuck it is. But then you see things like Twitch coming up, and if you're a weirdo and a crazy person, then Parler is something for you. But there's always like a new platform coming up, and I feel like people in our position where we do create content, we do have a presence online. We're always kind of looking for that edge. What's the new thing? What's coming around the corner? Like, what do you do to try to stay abreast of that thing? Like, how do you figure out what's next?
How do you figure out what's next? You just see what everyone's talking about. See, you see what everyone you see. You kind of look at the gradual progression of everything and see what has to be next. Because I guess from Twitter, that's how you get Clubhouse. People type their opinions with their thumbs on Twitter, but at some point, people want to be heard. People want to have conversations about certain things. There's only a certain amount of things that you can do in a tweet. So at some point, people want to get together and have a conversation, and they want to be actually heard. So that's where Clubhouse comes in. You get people on there, people start having discussions about whatever the fuck. You can literally talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about on Clubhouse. You can talk about a movie that just came out. You could talk about sex. You could talk about depression. You could talk about video games. You could talk about just literally anything. And then, the natural progression from that is I guess like the video chat, like more like like a Clubhouse but with video chats. Like that's like the next thing, I would think. That's the next thing that everyone's gonna hop on. Just
sounds a lot like a podcast.
It says, it sounds like something that, like, I think like Google Hangouts used to be a thing. It used to be a thing back in the day. I can't remember the website, but you could actually like video chat with your friends and shit like that. But like the interface was garbage. You just got to make something that's inviting and that, people want to click on, that people want to be a part of. You got to have the right people on that platform to get people to draw the people to it. Twitch is going to be the biggest blow up thing that happens this year. Like, I've seen so many people, be it celebrities, influencers, regular people, just try to get on Twitch because they're in the entertainment field and they can't go outside. They need some way to connect. They need some way to talk. And Instagram Live and Twitter's not doing it. Clubhouse might not be their thing. So Twitch is the next big thing. Everyone's flocking to Twitch. You got the video game aspect of it all. Now people see the $1 billion that video games make. So now you want to be on that site. Like, I've seen like just old motherfuckers sign up for accounts and shit. Like, I've seen like Peter Rosenberg, I've seen Snoop Dogg on it, I've seen countless rappers on it, producers, directors and shit, artists on it, and people want an outlet to be able to talk to the people and showcase what they're doing. And no other platform gives you that capability like Twitch. Clubhouse is cool if you just want to talk. IG Live is cool if you just want to show yourself and get something off real quick. Twitch takes all that shit and like amplifies it by like 1,000. So you get clear crystal quality of like video, sound. You get to showcase whatever you want initially on Twitch. You can showcase music, art, video games.
I know some DJs on Twitch.
DJs
like following.
It's crazy on Twitch right now. So you should get on Twitch too. Like, lock down your username and shit, because Twitch is going to be a thing.
I was wondering, like, what the fuck would I do on Twitch? Like, I don't know. Like, streaming video games, as much as it sounds fun to me, I don't think that I'm the right person for that.
Not even stream the video games. You can do the podcast live. Like, what I do with the Domino Effect most of the time now is I'll stream it on Twitch. So the people that want to tune in on Twitch, you get to see the podcast right there. You get to see it, live right here. Any fuck ups, anything that happens in the studio, you get to see it right there. But for everybody else, you get to catch it when I put it out, maybe like a week from now. But there's people that already saw everything that happened already. So I have that following where I was like, hey, come to my Twitch channel. You can see the episode before the episode actually comes out. When I get my setup, I can start to stream games. Like, I got all this fucking equipment right here. I'm waiting until I move to set all this shit up. So it's like, if you want to put yourself out there more, if you want to be amongst the people, if you want to host something, if you like just to have content, just be on Twitch, because it's easy to record it and just shoot that shit to YouTube or Facebook or something like that. Like it's easy. Like you could just post it everywhere. Like Twitch, Twitch is the new thing. Twitch and Clubhouse.
I might have to take your advice. I might have to jump on things.
Tell you, man, lock down a pod amongst men. Your real name, whatever the fuck, just lock down a username, and then whenever you see fit, I'm telling you, you'll figure it out. You'll figure out what you would use it for, whether it be podcast, gaming, your son, you know, and like people cook on Twitch. They show like their family live, like they'll play like board games with their family and stream it and get like 100 views, 200 views and shit. Like it's not that hard to figure it out. You'll figure it out.
All right. I like that. So everybody get on Twitch and Clubhouse. You heard it here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, if you can get on Clubhouse, because it's still like that invite only shit, but it's slowly becoming like, you know, like an Instagram where you can just sign up. But, you know, Clubhouse ain't been my thing. Like, I don't like being on the phone as is, so I don't feel like having a conference call with you motherfuckers.
All right, bro. Listen, you know, thank you for coming on the show. Short notice.
No doubt, man.
I always appreciate it every time you show up. My man Dom.
Anytime you
Head
need,
Ninja
Steve.
in charge.
Head Ninja in charge, baby. HNIC. Don't you fucking forget it, baby.
Yeah. So, all right, plug time, buddy. Plug away. What do you got?
Let's see. Twitch.tv/HK Domino. Follow me on there. Like I said, when I move, I'm doing my gaming setup thing. I'm gonna be hosting my podcast more when I start doing that again. Instagram, Twitter, HK_Domino. Facebook, don't look for me unless you a cougar. That's pretty much it. Yeah, Twitter, the Instagram, and Twitch. Fuck with me on there.
All right, beautiful, bro. So thanks again, man. This is a great conversation.
No doubt, man. Anytime.
There it is, guys. There it is. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. No, but seriously, big shout out to Domino. You guys already know where to find him. Make sure you guys go listen to the Three Ninjas. Watch them also on YouTube. And check out the Domino Effect, his solo podcast. You know, it's always a pleasure having him here. He's a cool guy. I enjoy talking to him. Nice person to be able to call a friend. You know, shout out to him. Shout out to you guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you could see or hear me, you know, I appreciate everybody rocking with us. This is 104 episodes. We're in triple digits now, people. Yeah, so as always, you guys know where to find us. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate that. And if you're listening, find us on YouTube and like and subscribe. What the fuck? Yeah, make sure you guys follow us on, you know, Spotify, iTunes. Give us a rating. Appreciate that. That goes a long way. And wherever else you get your podcasts, you know where to find us. You know, I'm not going to list them all. You guys already know. There's so many places to get podcasts. We're on pretty much all of them. Having a few issues with SoundCloud lately, but I don't think a lot of you guys are getting us through SoundCloud, so I'm not super worried about that. Anyway, yeah, thanks again for tuning in, listening, watching, everything. We appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you guys next week. Peace.